Hey world, hey universe. I'm super happy to be back here once again with all of you in this week. So, this week we're going to speak about something super important as we do every week. Okay, see, nature is agreeing with us. Before that, one quick announcement that people were asking, where is this cap? Some of our own people, even didn't identify me because of that cap. So, just to get that identity back on, I've removed this cap for a while. And please watch this episode until the end because we have two gifts waiting for you. Okay, so with that, let's jump straight into this episode. So I have this feeling that at the end of this whole uncertain period that we are going through, there will be two major categories of people. Okay, so one group will come out more self empowered. They'll use this time to rest, relax, rejuvenate, kind of resurrect themselves, and at the same time come out feeling more empowered, knowing about their own priorities. But there will be other group which is like, kind of joined with this uncertainty and feel more disempowered because they really do not know how to use this time, and so they will come out feeling more disempowered. So which is that group that you want to belong to is something that you have to think. Okay, so with that, I'm going to just share my screen and then talk about what we're going to see today. Okay, so the screen is on here. How many of us really kind of have these questions in our mind, which is especially during uncertain times like these, we feel stressed out because we have like a lot of things to do and we don't know which one to do first, which one to do next. And we feel locked down not just on the outside but on the inside also. And at the end of the day, we don't feel really so good. Like, we feel a little bit disempowered and we feel like as if we've run out of energy, and then you feel like, I have done so much, but at the end of the day I have not moved anywhere closer to my goals. And how many of us really feel that I lack the sense of purpose and meaning? So all of us must have had these questions at some point of time. It's very important to have these questions. So if you have these questions, you are on track, my friends. So just stay tuned. Okay, we're going to have answers. And so I was also having a time in my life when I had, such important questions, especially in 2011 when I had just delivered my second baby. And naturally, as a mother of two kids plus a full-time working person, handling and managing family, you will have too many things to do, and that is a natural overwhelm. But what I was also feeling in that period is that my own schedule, my day-to-day schedule was looking like this. I would get up in the morning, then prepare everything for my kids, and then run to the railway station to catch the train, and then it's a long commute to and fro. I would spend about 2.5-3 hours every other day, and at workplace we'll have a long to-do list, beginning from seeing patients to sitting in meetings to urgent eatings, and then some dumping of coffees, and plus again long commute back home. By the time I come back home, you see the battery is completely drained, and then I have to manage my kids once again, and at the end of the day I feel like kind of drained out. And things were going on like this, the clock was ticking, and at some point I really started to ask these questions, which is like, I'm not liking the way that things are going because I'm not able to contribute at the best of my abilities, and I'm not feeling really energetic, and at the end of the day I'm not feeling really connected to my mission or purpose. And I was really feeling as if I'm not living my life kinds. Okay, and at that time I just saw this book. So this book, which was apparently like, the book that was lying, as you see, like, look at the color of this book, it was lying like on the bookshelf for almost few years, I guess, thanks to my brother-in-law, Mr. Kannan, who had handed over this book sometime. But then I felt, okay, maybe the title of this book was intriguing, and I opened the book, and that was like an aha moment for me in my life. Okay, Dr. Stephen Covey's First Things First book. So some of the aha moments that I got from this book are these. Number one, as I was telling you, I had a big to-do list, like, you do this, you do this, you do this. I was doing more things, but that is not equal to doing the right thing. So I was not really doing the right thing, but I was doing a lot of stuff. Okay. And second thing is I was not connecting whatever I was doing to the most important task that I should actually be doing, which kind of serves the life's meaning. And so what do we mean by that big word like meaning of life? Kind is basically why am I having this goal? What should I do to to really take this goal forward, and how am I going to do this? And so the why is actually the drive behind all this. Like, why am I actually having this particular goal? Especially I had enrolled for my PhD at the same time when I had delivered my second child, and I was not really making any progress. Okay. And then I started to ask these questions. Okay, it's not about having to do many things, but it's about having to do the right things. And the next aha moment was this concept that was given in that book, which is all about looking at life as something which is not clock based. Like, you get up at 5, then you do this at 6, you do this at 7, and then you go to bed at 9, and then you just, the clock keeps ticking. But don't do that. Look at life as a more compass driven mission, which is like, I want to kind of go towards the east or west or whatever it is, and then keep looking at the compass. Am I really moving in that direction? Okay, am I really going in that direction? And if I'm not, if I'm just probably like, steering in another direction, then I have to make that adjustment to kind of move towards in the right direction. So when you have a compass, when you have this why that drives you to that ultimate vision of life, then I think that makes more sense. So basically the mistakes that I was making, number one, I was confusing being busy with being productive, right? I was doing a lot of tasks, but I was not really onto producing or creating valuable things. The second thing is I never asked why. Whenever a task would come to me, I'm like, okay, I'll do this. But I never asked this question, why should I do this task? What is the value that I am adding to myself or to the larger good by doing this task? And it's not about doing. It's about asking that why and having that clarity about, is this super important really? Okay, so that was the aha moment that I got through this book. So what happened next? I started to understand this in much more detail, and then look at some of the common life examples which will help you to understand as how we can move from an autopilot mode to taking life under our control. Okay, so for example, let's take the life of a 17-year-old teenager who wakes up whenever he or she feels like, and then because they have to prepare for exams, read, then they go sit, and then they feel so very distracted, and then they just take a small break by going and updating status in Insta, and then the stomach calls, and then they go eat and then take bath and then come back to Insta. Then this whole anxiety sets in. Oh my goodness, like what am I going to do? Is exam is on or off? This anxiety stuff. So I will share this with my friends. They go to WhatsApp. Then they feel even more anxious. Then they navigate through TV, social media, blah, blah, amidst all the other drama that's happening at home. They feel very distressed, and then they come out and then gaze at the sky for a while, and then the mother calls like, come back and read, because we don't know whether exams are there, come study. Then you go read without focus again, feeling so distracted. Then again you go check your Insta, and then you sleep with some anxiety. This cycle goes on. My friend, how many of you are able to relate to this kinds? Let's now move to the life of an aspiring professional. Okay, so we wake up again, especially when we are working from home, but we wake up, and then we don't have an idea as how the day is going to unfold. But then we have these big dreams inside the head. Okay, so we have this big dream of writing our book, writing our thesis, creating our business empire, becoming an entrepreneur, starting this own home-based business, whatsoever it is. And then we are like, I have to put my plan for this day. And then then we go and then browse through social media for a while, and then we look at the clock and 2 hours gone by the time. Then we go finish the daily chores. Then this whole what next anxiety creeps in, which doesn't leave anybody for that matter. So we see, okay, let's just check what other friends are talking about it. Then we go check it off, and then we kind of navigate through social media once again, look at current updates. and anxiety sets in. We just gaze at the ceiling for a while. It's almost 5 p.m. We still feel very drowsy and sleepy. We said, okay, let's just keep watching this series and finish it at least, so I'll feel a little relaxed, so I can work on my project again. And by the time you finish it, it's almost midnight, but the draft is still open here, and you never worked on it, and you sleep with the dissatisfaction. My friends, for how many of you it kind of sinks within? Then this life of this beautiful homemaker who again wakes up, no idea how the day is going to unfold, because everybody is at home now, but she's thinking of this again, her own dream, which is to sit and write for a while about this new thought, this creative project, this recipe, this home business that she's thinking about. And she says to herself, today I will really find some time to do it. And then she says, okay, let me just check what my family group is talking about, what my friends group is talking about, update the status in WhatsApp, chat for a while, does work for everybody at home, finishes the daily chores, almost 4 hours gone, and then again comes back to social media, navigate through social media, TV channel, newspaper for a while, feels even more anxious. And then the sun is almost about to set, and she tells to herself, okay, let me just watch this serial for a while, and then she sits, she relaxes, and it's almost time for dinner. And then the idea still remains unexplored within her own mind, and she sleeps with the tiredness, dissatisfaction. She wakes up once again. How does this really sink with you? This is how most of us are living life. We are living lives on autopilot mode, where we really do not know how the day is going to unfold. And what was really common in all these in all these stories that I was just talking, remember, in all these stories that I discussed with you, it was this lack of clarity about where we are heading. It's this confusion and frustration. It's overall, because we do not have this compass, there is this generalized anxiety. That is like super common for everybody, irrespective of the age group. And that is where Stephen Covey comes in, and he uses this Eisenhower's matrix, basically, okay? So what is this Eisenhower's matrix? So Eisenhower is basically, he was the 34th president of the United States from 1953 to 1961, and he also served as a general in the United States Army, okay? Especially during World War II. He was the Allied Forces Supreme Commander. So he had so many things to do, and he didn't know how to focus, okay? So he said, okay, I will find a system where I should really focus on the most important things. And that is when he created this matrix. And this is what Stephen Covey discusses in detail in the First Things First book throughout. Okay, so let's just go through this matrix very quickly. The first is, you see, there are these urgent, not urgent tasks, and then there is this important, not important task. So what are these basically? So urgent, important is basically, it's important and it's urgent. It has to be done right now. Okay, something like paying the electricity bill, paying the phone bill. And for a student, it's the homework that needs to be submitted immediately. And for the office goers, it's those meetings that are already fixed up where you have to show up. And it's those, the calls or the webinars which only runs for a limited time that you have to sit and attend on that day. Otherwise, you will miss it. So these are certain things which should be done now, immediately on that particular day. These are do it now tasks. Then comes the urgent and not important ones, which are like, these messages that are coming through WhatsApp, which is like, hey, when the lockdown will get over, can we go for a dinner? And you are thinking, okay, we should really plan for this. And there is this bulk of emails, which of course not like urgent, not like very important, but still, it demands your attention. It's like, come on, reply. And there is this person who keeps calling you to vent out their problems. It's not that you don't want to help them, but you've helped them adequately so far, but they keep calling you, still venting out. Okay, so these are people who really feels very good just venting out, but don't take that action to, take their life forward. And then some random meetings come in. These are all will sound like as if it's so urgent, but they're not important, okay? They will give you that feeling of importance, but they're really not important. Then comes that yellow quadrant, the quadrant 2, which actually Stephen Covey talks about, which is very important, but it's not urgent. So what are these basically? It's that important career development plan that you need to sit and think about. Like as I told the homemaker that has to sit and write about this business plan in her mind, about the creative task that she wants to do, about for the student or the PhD scholar or the author who wants to finish the chapter in the book or the thesis. It's about that person who is seeking for that job or that position to update their resume. Look at the pros and cons of different positions in the market. Build up your entrepreneurial, plan. The most important things, which are the key aspects of your well-being, to walk, to meditate, to indulge in spiritual practices, to regularize your sleep cycle, to do your gardening and take care of those plants that are there waiting for you, spending some time with your kids, calling up your parents. Now, these are all things that never kinds of comes and tells it's very urgent, you have to do it now, but they're very, very important. These are the quadrant 2 activities. I'll come back to it once again because that's where our focus should be on. Then comes the 4th quadrant, which is neither important nor urgent. What are these? The ones that we generally spend most of our time on: social media, TV, gossiping, indulging in political conversations and religious conversations, criticizing everything and everybody in the world. Now, I am asking, unless you go and make that change, if you cannot go and make that change, or if you are not doing anything, it's better to just keep our mouth shut. Because these are all not time killers, these are all people killers, because you're spreading out so much of negativity all around through these activities without even knowing the consequences of what you do, because you have this free time all around yourself, you do this. The next thing is self-sabotaging behavior. What do I mean by that? Sitting and thinking about all the bad things that happened to you. Somebody did this to me, somebody did that to me, what should I do to take revenge? And then thinking about all the blame game that you can actually play. Thinking about all the things that didn't go really well in your life, and then going and talking ill about that person, or going and venting out your anger on somebody who really doesn't deserve that anger. So these are all tasks that generally we do, which is neither important nor urgent, because we don't know what to do with our precious time. We just go and dump our time into the tasks, and we really kill the time, and we kill our personalities. Okay, so what should we do? Basically, when something is really urgent and important, if you don't pay the bill, your service is going to get cut. If you don't submit that homework, you're going to get a 0. So do it. Okay, it's very important. These are time-bound tasks. Now, when you have this urgent but not important ones, think about delegating it to somebody. Can someone else do the task for you? Or you can reschedule it later on to a time when your energy levels are really low. But now when your energy levels are high and you are super focused, you have to do the important, not urgent ones. I say decide, which means I say kind of schedule it in your calendar and spend time on that. This is where most of your energy should be spent actually. There's something called Pareto's rule, which really kind of talks about that in a day, whatever you are doing it, like just spending 20% of your time is basically going to give you 80% of results, right? The tasks in this quadrant, the quadrant number 2, that yellow quadrant, where you are going to be investing your time on, is the one that's going to really help you grow. And the last one, ditch it. Don't do it, my friend. Don't do it unless that social media feed is going to generate revenue, unless your whole business is based on social media. Of course, do it, but otherwise do not do it like as a time pass or a time killer. Okay, so the quadrant 2 is where the not urgent yet important is the one that's going to help you build your empire, take your goals to the next level, help you create your legacy, and it's going to give that sense of worthiness and meaning in your life. So think about what are these quadrant 2 goals that you should be working on. And Eisenhower puts it so very nicely. He says that the urgent are not important. So whichever that comes to saying, attend to me, they are not important. And the important are never urgent. The important always lies there. Your health doesn't, tell you, okay, come walk for a while. But it becomes urgent if you don't take care of it. At one day, it just comes as an alarming pain where it demands, something big. So don't let the not urgent, important lie there for a while until it becomes urgent and important, and then the story is altogether different. And I have something else, which is the fifth quadrant that neither Eisenhower nor Stephen Covey did not speak about, which is where we mix everything up and end up being frustrated, okay? Which is what is this illusory multitasking. So what does that mean? For example, you say, okay, I'm going to spend my time building up my career now. I'm going to do this course. You open up your coursework, your mobile or laptop, and then you say, okay, let me just check with my friend as well, and then open up the WhatsApp. Some time goes, and then you just suddenly look at the TV, the statistics is alarming, you feel frustrated, and then you feel like, okay, let me exercise for a while. That is also important. You go stretch for 5 minutes, and then you feel hungry. You go fill the plate and then sit in front of the Netflix or Amazon. How does that sound? Where you started with a quadrant 2 task, but then you did not have the focus and you mixed up everything and messed it up. So never multitask. When you decide to do something, just do that, okay? Now let's come back to this life of the 17-year-old teenager, where we are going to put this person's life into this Eisenhower's matrix, of how we can take away these time killers, personality killers, and replace it with really important tasks, okay? So look at these things. I have kind of removed it from the list, okay? Don't do or ditch it, and then replace it with really activities like stretching and deep breathing and doing creative tasks, okay? I'm not saying that do not relax. I'm not saying that lead a yogic life. That's not what I'm saying. But use those time killers as a means to relax really after you have accomplished for a while. So you say, I will work on this project for 2-3 hours. When I finish this, I'll go watch this movie. I'll give myself a break. I'll watch a movie every week, and that's what is the gift that I'm giving to myself. So attach those relaxations with as a form of gratification to the work that you do, but not fill your day with those tasks and then do the important ones whenever you find time. Not that way around. So now the 17-year-old teenager's task is being put into the Eisenhower's matrix. So look at it, how things. So he has to do the urgent, important homework, which is that important one, and read. He has to read every day. The not urgent and important is to be following the regular sleep cycle, doing the deep breathing, working on building creativity, taking up that model exams and stay prepared to face exams at any point of time, and work on building up his skills, do that computer course or whatever that can, keep him on that edge. And that not important but looks urgent is not to reply to that friend's message about the get-together. The get-together will wait. And definitely not to indulge in political conversations or social media, TV, or binge watching these movies. That's the quadrant that he has to ditch. So this is how we need to be scheduling our own tasks and lives. And now comes the gifts for the day, okay? So basically what I expect you to do is to think about what is your deep burning desire, what is that you will put in that quadrant 2, okay? Which is important but not urgent, and then type that in the comment box, okay? Which is your deep burning desire, and the best comment is going to get a copy of Stephen Covey's First Things First book. Okay, so that's the first gift. Second gift is if you're more interested in scheduling, okay, because I would call myself as a scheduling control freak. So look at the number of schedulers I have. So I kind of schedule things, and then I can assure you that scheduling really changed my life. And if you want to know more about scheduling, you can drop in an email about your intention. So why do you want to schedule things, and what is that you're trying to achieve? And definitely I will choose 2 of you and then do a free coaching call with you, 30 minutes coaching call. If more requests come in, then I will do a live session either through YouTube or Insta, where we can discuss about how we can schedule tasks in our calendar and achieve really great things. Okay, so these are the 2 gifts that I assured you that I'm going to share towards the end. Okay, and so really I'm waiting for your comments and your emails. And before we wrap up this episode, this is a quote that I wrote it specifically for this episode. So how do you basically understand the things that are really important? which when you really let go of what that doesn't serve you, when you identify those time killers and ditch it off, remove it from your list, that is when you will get the clarity. So the first step that you have to do is to identify the ones that need to go to the trash can. So when you let go of what that doesn't serve you, you get to tune into your soul's calling. The sun is shining up bright, the nature is agreeing with us. So until I see you next week, signing off with infinite love, gratitude and bliss. This is yours, Riz. Let the soul speak.